Cass. Put another 2 points on the board. The Oilers take care of business against the Pittsburgh Penguins. 6-1 is the final. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream Postgame Show on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you. Matt Kassian also at the Satellite Studios. He will be right around the corner. We'll get to him right in a second or two. And YouTube Trev holding things down back at the EST Global HQ. I'm laughing because Cass is chirping Joaquin in the Nasty Chat right now. Having said that, get in on the conversation. Nasty Chat, having a good time, as well as you can text us 780-218-9999. Let's get Cass on there, Trev. Let's bring him on. There he is. I love what you said to Gager. If you want to enlighten everybody that's listening on their way home from the rink on a frigid northern Alberta night, Cass, I chuckled and I knew you knew exactly what I was laughing at.
Oh yeah, no, I heard the giggle. I heard the giggle over there before we were on air. Yeah, I was just commenting on how your fridge is pretty much empty of all adult beverages. And we had just finished, ironically, talking about how you always have to stock up when Gager's over here because they just disappear. It's like magic.
Yeah,
it's like magic. I think someone in the Nasty Chat threw out a Leather Daddy was thirsty, and it's like, well, yeah, apparently he was and is.
We keep
and will be.
We keep Leather Daddy saturated for sure. I do have a mini fridge in my office / studio that Leather Daddy has also gotten into a little bit. And Gager knows where to go when he comes over. So Cass is in tow. Good to have him on location at the Satellite Studios. And good to have Gager in the Nasty Chat as we break down Edmonton's 6-1 victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's start with the scoring summary, then we'll get to Cass's thoughts, Trev as well, and then a lot of texts, I'm sure. People very satisfied with the way the Oilers got the job done against Crosby, Malkin, and the Penguins. So without further ado, in the first period, he had a big night. Zach Hyman, his 41st of the season at 14:07 from McDavid, and Draisaitl 1-zip oil after one. Edmonton, I thought, right from the start was the better team, and they clearly were in that first period, and they only had a 1-goal lead, but that would change in the second period. Corey Perry, his 8th of the year on a really nice feed from Ryan McLeod. Warren Fogle, the secondary assist, give Fogle 17 apples, McLeod 12, Perry 8 goals, 2-zip oil, 257 in. Shortly after that at 5:55, Zach Hyman, second of the night, 42nd of the season from Draisaitl and Bouchard, making it 3-0 Oilers. Then Ryan McLeod at 18:47 to make it 4-zip, his 10th of the year. Banks it off of Nedeljkovic's shoulder and head and in. Kulak and Kane, the helpers. 23 seconds later, Cody Ceci, a nice shot, far side blocker to make it 5-0. Gives Ceci 2 on the air. Fogle, another helper. Kulak, another helper. Good shift for Kulak on that one. 2 assists in 23 seconds for Brett Kulak, who, by the way, had the game-winning goal yesterday. So Kulak, a nice weekend indeed. And then in the third period, Edmonton making it 6-0. Connor McDavid's 23rd of the season from Draisaitl and Ekholm. A shot off the pillows, as Joaquin and I were discussing, and that was also one of Hyman's goals. I like the shot off the pillows. It's a good way to pass the puck, and it's effective. Worked a couple of times tonight. McDavid, 23 goals. He'll get to 30, not even trying to get us goals anymore. He seems to only want assists right now. That one coming at 6:03. Malkin would end the shutout bid for Calvin Pickard, his 17th of the season from Riley Smith and Ricard Raquel at 12:23. Final 6-1 in favor of the Oilers. Shots on goal, 38-24 for Edmonton. Face-off percentage, 57.4 to 42.6 in favor of Edmonton. The power play goes 0 for 3. They did have a 2-man advantage, but at that point, the game was out of reach for Pittsburgh. They didn't really try to do much outside of try to get Hyman the hat trick. And then the PK goes 2 for 2. A Penguins power play that Cass brought up earlier on Game Changers, not particularly strong, 28th in the league overall and 30th on the road. So not a surprise to see the Pens struggle on the p tonight. Hits 33 apiece. That's interesting. Shots, block shots 17-10 in favor of Pittsburgh. Giveaways officially 13 for the Oil, 11 for the Pens. Takeaways 14 for the Pens, 13 for the Oil. And at the end of the night cast, it is a 6-1 Oilers victory. What stood out to you the most tonight?
Well, I liked the start of the game, Tommy. I liked the middle, and I liked the end. Like it did seem like for the first time in a while, the Edmonton Oilers played a pretty complete game. Like Pittsburgh didn't look like they had a lot of energy, but Pittsburgh didn't ever look threatening. Like it didn't ever look like there was a chance that the Edmonton Oilers weren't going to lose that hockey game. It took them a little while to start putting points up on the board tonight. But Tommy, I thought it was just from beginning to end, it was a pretty solid, clean game overall from the Edmonton Oilers. Like a clean game, not a ton of mistakes. They didn't try to press anything. I think is a nasty chatter. I can't remember who it was. Artie was in the inbox saying it was a mature game. And it really was. I thought it was a mature game. I thought they played, for the most part, they played good hockey for the entire 60 minutes tonight, Tom, which was a real positive against a Pittsburgh team that looks like
that's it.
They're done. Yeah, it looks like they're done. No life there at all.
Yeah.
But hey, when you have teams that you're playing that are in that type of situation, you need to find ways to stick it to them and to make them want to quit. And the Edmonton Oilers certainly did that tonight.
Something that you and I have discussed over the last few years, and we kind of questioned about the Oilers, was killer instinct at times. And I think today, for the most part, we saw killer instinct. You said you liked the beginning, middle, and end. They recognized that they had a prime opportunity to bank 2 points, and that's exactly what they did. So a mature win, I think that was the term that we said, or you said earlier. That's good. Very satisfying, I think, if you're an Oiler fan tonight when you look at that game overall. One thing, Cass, I want to float at you, and I like this about the Oilers game, and I think it is a good sign, is we saw some depth scoring. We saw a little bit of chemistry with Corey Perry and Ryan McLeod, and I think Fogle worked well there. We knew, Hyman and Draisaitl and McDavid were going to probably have a good opportunity to pick up some points like they did. But I thought the depth goals, and you see CC score a goal, Cass, and you see McLeod and Perry get one, and you see a couple of assists for Kulak. And to me, that's a really good sign that they were able to spread the offense around a little bit tonight, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to comment on Ryan McLeod's game. He played a really confident game tonight.
Yeah.
Really confident game. You almost had to look a second time to make sure that was him and not McDavid, banking that goal in, because it's not something that you've seen Ryan McLeod try, and obviously it works in that. But some confident plays. I mean, that pass to Perry too was a beautiful pass to find that little gap there on the sliding. I can't remember which demon that was sliding for Pittsburgh, but finds a little bit of a lane and Perry's there to finish. And as you said, Tommy, a little bit of chemistry there, which was great to see. And that, from a depth standpoint, if Ryan McLeod and that group can continue to find some of that chemistry and build, I mean, it just helps up your top guys so much. Not that they had a bad night. They had a good night too.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit of depth help. And hey, you saw this smile on Cody Cece's face. That was beautiful. I love that.
Good for him. Nice shot. Nice play. It was interesting, too, seeing Cece paired up with Kulak and Desharnais go up with Nurse there. And you and I, as we were walking back from the rink, we're trying to put our finger on what the rationale was. And what do you make of Chris Knobloch deciding to do that, and Mark Stewart and Paul Coffey mixing up the D pairings tonight?
Yeah, well, we've seen them do that before a couple of weeks ago coming out of the All-Star break, where I actually think it was the same pairing group where they put Desharnais with Nurse.
Yeah.
And you're giving a little bit of a different look. Desharnais with Darnell is another guy you're trying to say, okay, someone that's basically a stay-at-home defenseman. Let's call it what it is. That's just going to try to play responsible defensively in Vinny Desharnais with Darnell Nurse, and saying, okay, when you have Kulak and Cece together, I mean, they're a little bit more mobile and really two guys that both are pretty steady defensively. And if you, and we talked about before the game, how sometimes Darnell Nurse's game makes it difficult, I think, at times for other defensemen to read off of him.
Yes.
And I think that's caused Cece some problems at times. And in freeing him of that in some ways, it enables him just to play a little bit more of a steady game with someone that's more predictable in Kulak, who also plays a steady game. And for Vinny Desharnais, he's a meat and potatoes type of player, which is great. Nothing wrong with that at all.
No.
But saying, okay, well, here's someone that is going to stay at home, that from a range standpoint is rangy enough that if he is covering for something that Darnell Nurse does that's unexpected, he can cover a little bit more ice just by standing there. So it could be that. Now, could it be, as we've already seen messages flying in about a potential trade? Could it be that? Well, of course it could.
Yeah,
of course it could. I would lean away from that still. I don't think so. I think they're just trying to get a little bit of a different look at pairings to see, what they have in guys and to try different things. You're not going to run the exact same pairing on your defense the entire year. Now, we've seen it really steady because there haven't been injuries, but I mean, it's not, I don't know, Tommy, to say for one game to try to read too much into it. I just kind of think it's a different look, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, they, like you said, they did try it a couple of weeks ago. Didn't particularly work out great, but today another opportunity. Maybe they just sensed with Pittsburgh coming in after a tough night last night in Calgary, they could give it a go, and they did, and it seemed to work pretty darn good for the Oilers. And we'll see where it goes from here. Listen, the Oilers, we know, are open for business. They want to improve this team. Yes, they would like to get a top 6 guy. Could they find one? Potentially. We saw today the Kings absolutely shellac the New Jersey Devils. Does that make Tyler Toffoli available? Would that be someone the Oilers should look at? I think a lot of Oiler fans have said yes. Jake Gensel was up in the press box. He's on this trip. Josh Getzoff, who was on the pregame show, him and I were talking a little bit about that. He could be on his way out, although he is an impact player and has been a good one. But we'll see what happens. And I was told today, Cass, that teams that are sellers, and now that we're finding out day by day which teams are definitely out of the playoff picture. Like today's a death blow for the Pens, certainly a tough one for the Devils, that they're still holding out for first rounders. And I was told that once these teams start to realize that they're not going to get first rounders or they swing and miss on first rounders, then we're going to see the floodgates open up. That was what I was told today in the press box. So the teams that are sellers are being stubborn. So I don't think that's a surprise. But I think, as the week progresses, they probably get a little antsier, right?
Yeah, well, there's just more pressure, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't get something done and you had the opportunity to, would you take a second-round pick and a prospect over nothing? If you've been asking for first-round pick and a prospect for somebody and to not have a deal done on someone is going to walk or not, like it just doesn't make sense for those teams. So, you have – I would say decreasing amounts of leverage. And then if other teams go out and they do find deals, all of a sudden now you have less people that are interested and less willing. So yeah, the pressure will start to ramp up for some of those teams that are sellers, as it will teams that are buyers in some regard. So and that's the negotiating side of it, right? Is you kind of have to read the temperature on these players that are available and, apply pressures to the teams. I mean, is it a good time for Ken Holland to make a phone call or to have a conversation in the press box after this game with Kyle Dubas? Probably. Because you want to be, first in line when that things happen. But for the teams that are being stubborn, that are looking to move somebody, I mean, it could ramp up the pressure a little bit here this next week. So we'll see, Tommy. We'll have to see. It'll be interesting heading into trade deadline to see how much happens right before, and how much this week leading up to it takes place over the course of the week.
It's going to be fun. We're going to be all over trade deadline day on Friday, March 8th. Keep it locked on EST. You know where to go. We'll have all of our analysts like Cass and Gager and Belzy and others in tow to break everything down. It's going to be a really, really fun Friday, and we'll see what the Oilers do get in terms of a haul if they are indeed successful in bolstering the lineup. All right, 780-218-9999 and in the nasty chat, let us know your thoughts on tonight's victory. What are you thinking going into trade deadline? And we're going to read some of those out right away. But let's get to our boy, YouTube Trav. Trav, you were watching the game from the EST Global HQ. What did you like from tonight?
Oh, what's up, boys? How's it going? Yeah, it was a pretty, the first time in a long time I can say you could just chill and sit back and be like, okay, the Oilers got this one. Like I wasn't at one point, I wasn't, frustrated. It was a pretty convincing win. And I really think like the biggest takeaway, and you guys kind of talked about it, is just, yeah, the Penguins, they didn't bring it. And I don't know if it was the Oilers, they just really brought it, or if the Penguins didn't bring it. There's kind of I don't know what side to look at it.
Both, probably.
Yeah, a little bit of both. But I just, man, the Oilers, there's so many grade A chances. I think the Penguins, like, they collapse. They collapse a lot. And that was the one thing you were seeing, whether it was the first line, second line, third line, kind of all the lines the Oilers had going. They were making some pretty good chances all night long. And then it was nice to see in the last 10 minutes of the game, you didn't really see the top six. They were really riding the Fogle, McLeod, Perry line and the fourth line as well, which is nice, right? You are probably going to win the game, so it's good to get some fresh legs out there and just get some new eyes out there. So that was nice. I really liked Ekholm and Bouchard tonight. I didn't mind. They did switch it up. Well, you guys talked about it as well. It didn't really work out the last time they switched the defense, but this time I thought it was pretty solid. Nothing too crazy there. But Ekholm and Bouch, there was a few plays that Ekholm, he just makes it look so easy. The puck goes in and it's out, just like that. Like, he grabs the puck, sees a guy, it's off to him, and they're off and running, right? So it was there was a lot to like if you're an Oilers fan. There's definitely a lot to like. It was a pretty fun win, and it's kind of cool, boys.
Trev, you brought something up that I'm glad you did, and I had forgotten about it, and I think it's worth discussing, is that fourth line with Sam Gagner on there today, Cass. He slots in for Derek Ryan. Derek Ryan expected to be back and ready to go for Tuesday against Boston. I know Pittsburgh didn't have a lot of jam. Trev just talked about it. We just talked about it. But I thought that line with Brown, Holloway, and Gagner actually had a pretty good night. In the first period in particular, they got a few chances, and Gagner hits the post in the second, the slapper.
I was going to say the classic. How often do you see that slap shot off the wing? I loved it. I so hope that I wanted that to go in. I was like, this is awesome. That would have been unreal.
But that line, I don't know, Cass. I kind of might be in favor of just letting Sam Gagner play on Tuesday. And if Derek Ryan's a little bit nicked up, I'd say take another night off Derek Ryan. Let's see if Sam can bring some jam again.
Yeah, and they had decent jam. I mean, Gagner was a threat to score on that play. Brown actually had a tip. I thought, was that him in the high slot on the one? It was in the.
There was a couple. Holloway was buzzing a little bit today. I thought in the first period they were setting the tone pretty good. Actually,
they set the tone all right. I like their effort level tonight.
Yeah,
really like their effort. Like they were after it. They were on it. And a couple of chances, and they didn't really give up much or anything against. So yeah, it was a solid night from them. I would agree with you if Derek Ryan isn't ready to go or is a little nicked up, even if he is ready to go, if he's playoff ready. And what I mean by that is, if this was the playoffs, he'd be like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But if it's regular season and there's still something lingering, let Gagner play again. They played a good game tonight. As we talked about, the team as a whole played a solid 60. So run it back, Tommy. That's what I'd do.
I'm okay with that. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Edmonton, fourth straight victory, 3 points ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights. That's, I think, a pleasant thing that the Oilers faithful would probably appreciate. And 2 games in hand on Vegas. The Golden Knights last night losing in Buffalo. It was Buffalo yesterday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Man, I'm getting my days crossed up. Yeah,
7
Buffalo.
Was that
7-2? They got smacked around pretty good. So, Vegas in its last 10 games, 3-6-1. So that's nice. A little bit of separation there between the Oilers and the Golden Knights. And as Millwood's Matt points out via the inbox, 780-218-9999, 9 points back of Vancouver now with 4 in hand. Kind of sucks. Van won today. They beat Anaheim 2-1. Do you think it's realistic, Cass, that they catch Vancouver? Or do you think that that's kind of a bit of a pipe dream?
Well, it's plausible still. You have the games in hand. Vancouver has been struggling. I know they win today, but they've been struggling a little bit. 4-5-1 in their last 10 games. Like they've had some issues, which at some point they were going to have. Most teams have little stretches in the season, even the really good ones. So it's plausible. It is plausible. Still going to be challenging. They won 4 straight. Edmonton has, and they have 4 games in hand. You have to win all those games and then some to make that difference up. So it's going to be challenging. But it's not out of the realm of possibilities, Tommy. I mean, if Vancouver continues a little bit of a skid, it loses a couple more, well, all of a sudden that gap could close, depending on what Edmonton does as well. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be focusing on it either as a fan or as a player. But hey, Tommy, it could happen.
Could happen. Never say
Could
never.
happen.
The Oilers and Canucks do face each other one more time, and Vancouver has mopped the floor with Edmonton. That's just facts so far this season, but that was a long time ago. All right, Big Uke texting in. Big Uke says, absolute full team effort this weekend. Some depth goals, points from the defense. Both goalies played great and got 4 points. This is a good sign. This one from CMAC says, nice win over a weary Pittsburgh team. Pickard steady and played a great game. Wasn't needed often, but was there when he was. No questions in net for me. And then CMAC adds, if 25-73 is a pairing moving forward, that's a big boy, mean pairing. Looked like Nurse could jump up tonight without concern, as he likes to do, and had Vinny steady backing him up. Cass, you want to add anything to that from CMAC?
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't necessarily be a fun pairing to play against if they're playing with a little bit more violence in their game. Like it's a big body group, and again tonight they were really good. They worked well together tonight. Vinny Desharnais read off of Darnell Nurse well, and they didn't look like they ever really struggled. Now, I mean, my question long term, if you're running with this long term, is Vinny Desharnais, as the pace increases, as we saw in playoffs last year, is it something where you're going to want him playing those minutes that you need Darnell Nurse playing those minutes in the playoffs? But for now, to have a little bit of a different look, it is a pairing that could work. It's just the big question will be, can it work over a long period of time or not?
I suppose, like today, they test it to see if it could work. Now, listen, you talked about it on Game Changers on the pregame show. Pittsburgh isn't a particularly fast team. They're old. They're not going to really beat you with speed, but he passed tonight's test. Maybe they try this again against a quicker team, a harder team to play against. And if he does well there, incremental growth and some signs that maybe he could handle it. And then maybe you have another option come playoff time against a Vegas Golden Knights team, let's say, that you see in the postseason. So interesting, and we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Let's go to Oily Sink, who texts in and says, tonight, Rogers Place utilized the wave correctly. 6-1, no way back, end of the game. This is the way. I do appreciate that, Cass, because we've seen it go wrong in Rogers Place a few times when people get a little zealous or overzealous and bust out the wave when it's like a 1-goal lead or even a 2-2 or a tied game or whatever. I think that's what the case was a couple of weeks ago. So good job using the wave at the appropriate time. I'm just going to leave that there. Leave that there, Cass.
Yeah, that's an okay time. I'm okay with that timing of it.
Yeah. KL texting in, clinical game, boys. Clinical game. I liked what they did with the D pairing. CC and Nurse have been looking sketchy lately. Both new pairs look good coming for first. I like the swagger there. And Shaggy in St. Albert says, finally, Oilers show some killer instinct. Game was over. End of second. Usually they're in a dogfight for a win in the third period. Only complaint, should have had Brown play with McDavid and Draisaitl in the third to get him off the schneid. Where are you at with Connor Brown, Cass? I mean,
I kind of wanted, and there was a little war within me when they got that 5-on-3, because part of me was like, you want to get Hyman his hat trick and make sure he gets to 50.
Yeah.
And the flip side is like, you want to get Connor Brown a goal. Now they put him out on PP unit 2.
Yep.
At the tail end there to try to get something. It didn't really generate much. But I mean, hey, Connor Brown's working hard, which is great.
Great.
I don't know if he's going to score. Tom, I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. Neither do I. They half-assed it on that 5-on-3 as well. You could tell they half-assed.
Well, it was try to feed Hyman if we can. It wasn't the intensity on that 5-on-3 dipped considerably, but you were up 5 goals, so there was no need to go out and absolutely, I don't know. I don't want to say run up the score, but you be dominant.
Yeah,
you didn't have to, which is where I would have liked to probably maybe have seen Connor Brown to just to try to get the guy going.
Put him out.
Just put him in front of the net.
Go.
Put him out in front of the net. Get him something. But as a game went, and I think the comment was you would have liked, or the texter made, Would have liked to see Connor Brown with Draisaitl and McDavid. Well, you weren't really playing those guys towards the end of the game anyways. Like you're running your bottom six and basically rolling those guys out back to back. So, do you want to put McDavid and Draisaitl in a position where they're trying to stretch to get a goal for somebody at that point? Like, I don't know if that's the right move. As much as I do want Connor Brown to score, he's got to find ways to generate.
Yeah,
and so far he hasn't. Even though he's done well, penalty killing, did well again today. He is working hard. It's not like he doesn't work out there. It's not like he's lazy and floats. Like he does work. He tries to grind it out. Just can't put the puck in the net.
I know. It's in his head, man. He's going to go somewhere else next year on a cheap deal, and he'll put up 10 to 15. And that sucks. It sucks it couldn't happen here, but who knows? Maybe he wakes up in the playoffs, feels refreshed or something. I don't know, but it ain't happening this
He's scoring the OT winner to clinch the cup, Tommy. That's what's going to happen. Goal number 1 of the season.
I'm downgrading him from Mike Pekka to Peter Klima, okay?
Fair. That's fair.
Thank you.
Fair.
Thank you. 780-218-9999. And Nasty Chat, I'm going to go into the Nasty Chat right now. This one from Fish Tank says, Vinny has played like a top 4 D-man this year. He's earned his promotion in the lineup. Okay, like I don't know about the top 4 D-man. Me personally, I'm not going to say, hey, he's a top 4 D-man. I like the progress he's shown, Cass. And there's a sincere, genuine desire and willingness to work on everything and anything to make sure he stays in the NHL. And I give him full credit for that. Where have you seen his game grow? I don't know. Like Joe Not Exotic likes what Vinny's doing, and so do I. But what would you say Vinny has done to earn this bump up and this look like he got?
Yeah, not make mistakes.
Yeah,
not make mistakes. Like, I mean, when was the last time we could point and say, "Ooh, Vinny got lit up," or "Ooh, that was a horrible turnover," or "Ooh, what is he doing there?" Like it hasn't happened. So he's been very simple. Like it's not flashy. He has generally taken the easy play and just tried to make that. He's tried to do the easy play, the simple play. He's tried to be good, and I think quite well has done positionally. I don't think, Vinny Desharnais is not a top 4 defenseman, but is he?
Right.
And has he continued to grow into a guy that can slot into your bottom 6 incredibly well and give you solid minutes there and be really good on the penalty kill? Yes.
Yeah.
And do teams need that? Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. And he's done it quite well. The penalty killing in particular, if you look at the numbers, his numbers versus other guys' numbers, defensemen on the team from a penalty kill standpoint, he's probably been the most productive guy on the penalty kill for the defenseman in terms of success.
Yeah.
And the numbers, the analytics, I believe I'm saying this, the analytics back that up. But yeah, again, has he earned a little bit more of a look? Well, yeah. Has he earned some additional responsibility? Yes, he has. Yep. I can say that without hesitation, without question. I wouldn't say he's a top 4 guy. Yeah. I don't think he would say he's a top 4 guy. He would probably say, hey, I can slide up if you need me to, and I'm just going to play the same steady, consistent game. And that's kind of what he's doing. And again, I would still have some questions about when pace dramatically picks up in playoffs. Is that going to be more challenging for him, and how is he going to deal with it? I think that would be fair questions to ask. But hey, for now, he is playing some incredibly consistent hockey, and he's not making big mistakes, and that's what you want from a guy.
And I think Joe Not Exotic probably appreciated what Desharnais was able to do last night in the dying minutes of the game, especially in the last minute, to hold the lead and get that win 2-1 in Seattle. Desharnais shaking off both hands yesterday. Cass took pucks off of them. I think he took one off his back. The guy's a beast, and he's a giant human being. So good on him. Like, honestly, not taking anything away from him, but we're just saying maybe not really a top 4, but
valuable.
Let's see.
But
valuable. Yeah.
Yep.
And
very valuable. Incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
No, and that's I hope people don't think I'm trying to poop on him, because I'm not. Like
No. We're not.
No, not at all. No, incredibly valuable, and has been very, very good at what he does and what he does well. Again, especially on the penalty kill, which is an essential part to winning hockey games.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, please don't think, and I know you don't think that, but for anyone listening, I'm not trying to say anything horrible about his play. He's been playing extremely well.
He's put in the work, and it's paying off. Absolutely. Okay, let's get to Dirty Curdy here. It says, well-timed wave. Absolutely loved the shot mentality tonight. Even Clowder playing with some jam for once. Worm showing his slither. Songs will be written and sung from mountaintops about Zachary Martin Hyman. Picks solid, quick feet, and Koff's new pairings look good on first blush. Not even the brownout couldn't even get a sniff. Still, Mick, exciting times this week. Dreaming what can we add to really pour it on, hunt down the Nucks. Those fans are insufferable. Dirty Curdy with that one. Credit to Mark Stewart as well on the defense. I think he gets overlooked a lot, and people like to give love to Paul Coffey, rightly so. But Mark Stewart putting in a ton of work to making sure this blue line starts to pick up the slack, and it definitely has with Mark Stewart and Paul Coffey at the helm running the back end. I'm going to get this one to Randy. That Randy cast that likes to stir it up a little bit, so I'm going to read it with some caution. Randy says, the Oilers are obviously the best team ever. Check the receipts. I said to get your Stanley Cup futures when fans were jumping off the bandwagon. If they don't win the cup now, it's a massive, massive disappointment, much like the late start time that Scrivs mentioned. Got to give the Pens the out that their plane didn't arrive till 4 a.m. with key players out. No? Right? Says Randy. Yes, definitely they did get in late. I don't know. I like their chances in the playoffs, Cass. Have they learned? But actually, that wasn't too salty from Randy tonight.
No, that wasn't too salty. I mean, I think the jab at people for jumping off the bandwagon, that's fair. I was one of those. I'll accept that.
I declared the season over.
Yep,
I admit it.
I will fully accept that. And they dramatically proved both of us wrong, and they proved me wrong. So that's a fair shot. Now to say that they will win the cup or anything less is a disappointment. There's still some really good teams in the West.
Yeah.
Vegas is going to have a $125 million salary cap team that they're going to field. So that's one thing. And you have some good teams to go through. I think Dallas is going to be incredibly difficult to knock out with the Tanev ad that they made. We could really see some challenges there. So I don't know if I'm ready to say, anything less than the Stanley Cup is a disappointment, although my heart probably would say that. So my heart would probably say that. I'd be sad. So maybe Randy's onto something here.
Nice. Thanks for the text, Randy. Fergie says Vinny and Cece have scored. Maybe Brown needs to play D. Thank you, Fergie. That's a thought. That's a thought for sure. Interesting. I like that. Rob with 2 B's says Vinny has matured. Snars Tax in the nasty chat says Brown could go full Pisani in the playoffs. And Fish Tank adds, I was not a fan of Vinny last year, but his play has made me change my mind. X-Ray J in says, nice to see the Oilers dominate. Got to hand it to Pickard. Excellent in relief. Give him some more starts. Really quickly before we go into the Oilers locker room, Cass, were you a little bit surprised that they didn't get Nedeljkovic out of there in the third period?
A little bit, but what's it going to do at that point?
I know.
And he's your backup. Are you going to put your starter in to a situation where you're not coming back in that game? Like, it's done.
Yeah.
What's that going to spark for you?
Nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't actually that surprised. I just for that they're playing. If they didn't play back to back, I would have been surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Probably after that second period, you probably would have seen them switch at the intermission. But it was back to back, so yeah, not overly shocking.
Yeah, the Oilers touch up Nedeljkovic for 6. Pickard good, saving everything but one shot from Evgeny Malkin, and the Oilers with the 6-1 victory. All right. We're going to go inside the Oilers locker room. Let's start with YouTube, Trev.
Yeah, you got 3 apples tonight. Let's go to Leon Draisaitl.
Control and dominant performance from start to finish for you guys tonight.
Yeah, I would agree. Thought we came to play. 4 lines, 60 picks was outstanding when we needed him. That was really, really good effort by us.
Is it nice to have a game like that where it's not, edge of your seat right down to the wire? You can relax a little bit.
Yeah, you need those games every once in a while. But we put a lot of work into to create a game like that, right? So this doesn't just happen. Put a lot of work into it and did the little things right. And every once in a while, a game like that is nice.
You see a lot of guys. You've got a lot of goals from sharp angles. McLeod, that one's getting even sharper now, guys. That's like a purposeful shot that happens lots. We see.
Yeah, seems to be a new trend in the league. I thought Clowder was great tonight. I think their line as a whole was really good, and really nice goal by him.
So the wins are piling up and the goals against are going down. You feel like things are sort of trending back to where they were when you guys came here?
Yeah, for sure. We had a little lull there after the break. I think the break maybe took a little steam out of us. But a season like this is ups and downs. We know that. But I thought we handled it well and playing well right now. Obviously looking to continue that.
Yeah, can you speak to maybe how or if there was any type of reset after the Calgary loss? Because obviously you guys have really turned the corner since then.
Yeah, I think it's just very black and white with our group and keep the puck out of our net. It seems to go our way a lot more often than not. So I think everyone dug in, everyone committed to it, and it's what good teams do.
That's one thing this team is able to do, is to pull out of spins when things like they're going the wrong way.
Yeah, we've done that a lot over the last couple of years. Lots of ups and downs, and I think our maturity level is growing and getting better. And kudos to the entire group for sticking through some of the games that we've had lately. Not always the prettiest, but you got to win those too. So yeah, good job.
You told Connor last summer that he could score 60. Did you tell Zach he could score 50?
I did not. No, I can't take that. I can't say that I said that to him, but he's well on his way, and obviously, as a group, we're going to look to do whatever we can to get him there.
All right, that was Leon Draisaitl. A few points tonight. Draisaitl with the Apples on Hyman's first, as well as his second, and Connor McDavid's goal as well. So 3 helpers for Draisaitl. Cass, one thing he said that was kind of interesting, it was really much towards the front end of that interview, was sometimes you need wins like that. And they've been in a lot of close games, this Oilers team this season, especially in the last couple of weeks. What does it do for a team if you go and blow out the opposition and don't need to worry about the third period like they had that opportunity tonight?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's necessarily thinking about how you just didn't need the third period. I think it was more in relation to playing a full 60-minute game that you need nights like that.
Okay.
Like not just nights that you blow teams out and you crush teams, but teams that you just play or games that you just play a complete game, whole game that you play well from start to finish. I mean, you need games like that you are in control and you're not threatened and you're just able to just go out and accomplish what you need to, and you don't take any time off. To me, that's I think that's more what he's referencing to.
Gotcha.
There. That's how I heard it anyways. And that, it's not just crushing a team and beating them, but just playing consistent for a full 60 minutes and having that complete effort from top to bottom in your lineup.
Yeah. Well, they certainly did that tonight in a 6-1 win over Pittsburgh. All right, Trev, where to next?
Yeah, he reached 31 points tonight, which is a new career high. This is Warren Fogle.
Really a complete effort. I don't know if it's the most complete effort of the season, but it has to be up there.
Yeah, I thought our execution was really noticeable tonight. Making clean passes, making the right decisions at the right time, and kind of like you said, everyone was contributing, and hopefully we can build off that.
Pittsburgh's a team you guys have handled pretty well. Like the last 4 or 5 games have been one-sided. Any ideas?
No, just getting ready for the game, just like any other day. We just worry about ourselves, and obviously we're aware of who's out there on the ice. But it was a full 60-minute effort from everyone, and you do more of those things. Good results should happen.
You didn't look like a team in the back-to-back. You didn't look tired. You look like a team that kind of wants to get up and play every night right now.
Yeah, I think just getting in that rhythm. The next few months is usually every other day kind of hockey, and we're looking at the standings, and we want to finish first in our division and as well for the West. So efforts like that will help us get there.
Can you explain how you turned the corner since that Calgary game a little over a week ago?
I think just playing simple, everyone contributing. It was a game that we weren't satisfied with, and we knew we needed to be better, and everyone's, pushing in the right direction and, just trying to get, ready for the playoffs.
You're not a general manager, but it kind of looks like this team can stand pat on its goaltending. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely not a general manager. That's the first thing. But, both our goalies have been, unbelievable this year and, some really solid efforts by both of them. And, hopefully we can keep that up and, everyone, try to help them as well,
Would you want to be a GM when you retire?
Maybe, yeah. I think I'm such a hockey nerd that I enjoy the game so much. I have such a passion. So maybe, in the future that could be a calling card. But I like playing the game right now. So I'm just going to stay here.
I started in minor midget and GM, worked your way up to junior and into the NHL as a GM.
I don't know. We'll see. But just keep going here.
All right, there's Warren Fogle joking about his future career, obviously in search of another contract going into next season and beyond. Cass, when you were ready to hang it up, did you give hockey ops any consideration? Were people floating ideas in your head at all?
They weren't floating them in my head. I thought about it a little bit. It's a hard road. Mm-hmm. It's a hard road and a lot of stress. There's not a lot of GMs. And there's not a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So it's a tough gig, I think. A lot of pressure, a lot of moving around, a lot of career instability. And I kind of looked at it for what I wanted for my family for the rest of my life. And I went, I don't know. There's a part of me that would have loved it, though. I do love armchair GMing.
We all do.
I was going to say as many of us do. So I do love it. There's something that I would love about it. But no, not for me, ultimately.
Okay, understandable. I think you're doing great as an analyst, and then as well in the financial advisory role you've taken on. I'm saying that right? You
yeah,
and
close
Gage.
enough. Good enough.
Okay. All right. Who's next? YouTube, Trev.
Yeah, he had a solid weekend, racking up 3 points. Let's go to Brett Kulak.
Solid effort for your teammates, start to finish tonight.
Yeah, I thought we played well considering back-to-back with some travel. We had the benefit of getting in at a decent time yesterday, but still they're hard. You get tired, especially at this point of the season. But it was nice to see the start we had, and again, goaltending was really good, and that's always a big part of the team. So it was good night for us.
Switched up the D pairs again. I know you and Cody played a few games together early, and tonight you guys combined good defensively, but also 3 points.
Yeah. Anytime you can get on the score sheet, it's nice, and just have a strong game, start to finish. It's good, and I don't mind. Playing with different guys every now and then. You never know what happens if guys need to miss a game here or there, and things happen. So it's good to be comfortable with anyone.
What did you think of just how it was a real complete, team effort? Kind of seemed like everybody was involved and helped get to the victory. Yeah, we played
solid. We weren't overcomplicating things. On their goal, it was a kind of weird bounce over the net, but besides that, there wasn't any really big breakdowns or anything. Everyone was just, just playing smart and collectively, one shift after another, put together a good game.
I feel like after the All-Star break wasn't good, but you guys have put a few together now in a row. You feel like you guys got your mojo back here a little bit.
Yeah, I think so, and you feel it in the room. You quickly fall back on, you start feeling what works for us, and that's just keep pucks moving forward and spend time in the offensive zone.
You guys had a few of those where things look like they're going wonky for a little bit, and then it's not flicking a switch, but you guys turn it around pretty quickly. What happens in leading up to that game?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just shows a lot of composure within the group, and that's a big thing for us. I think since I've got here, there's been times where everyone wants to win so bad, and it's frustrating when things aren't going your way. But I found now we're able to kind of just keep moving on and play the next shift and play the next play and just carry on with the game, and we found success that way.
All right, there was Brett Kulak, couple of helpers tonight. Had the game-winning goal yesterday, and +2, 3 shots, 1 hit, 1850 time on ice. That was Cody Cece's stat line. Apologies. 2 assists for Kulak, +2 as well. 2 shots, 4 hits, 1753 time on ice. That pairing pretty good, combining for 3 points. I'm going to armchair GM this really quickly. Don't trade that guy.
I don't think you trade Cody Cece either.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's people that disagree with me, but I don't think you trade either of them.
add some depth, see what you could do up front. We'll see what happens for the Oilers. I'm sure they're going to swing for the fences, do whatever they can to upgrade this team, get it ready and primed for a long playoff run. But man, CC and Kulak were good tonight. I really, really appreciate Brett Kulak's game overall. And I have a ton of respect for Cody CC too. All right, last interview. Then we're going to get Cass's thoughts, and we'll get to more texts as well as the player of the game. Who is our last one, Trev?
Yes, last but not least, let's go to tonight's netminder, Calvin Pickard.
Performance. You had said it. You believe in yourself, and just every time you get a chance, you just keep proving it.
Yeah, it was a good game. We were in control the whole night. I felt good going into it. Obviously, back to back. They were back to back as well. So, right from the puck drop, we had a good kill early in the game, and we really took control. We scored in the first, and then didn't look back.
It looks like with the schedule, obviously, it's more condensed. You're going to get a lot more playing time now. Excited about that opportunity. Is it naturally better and easier when you get to play more frequently?
For sure. We'll see what the next few weeks brings, but we're not looking too far ahead. Hop on the plane tomorrow. Kind of short-term memory. We'll enjoy it tonight, and then it'll be good. Condensed schedule is good for me. We need both guys going, so we got to keep this rolling.
When the GM says he's out of the goalie market at the trade deadline, is that anything you pay attention to, and how does it make you feel?
If I was paying attention to it, I don't think I'd have a ton of success. I'm just trying to go about my job, and I think I've done that pretty well so far. But we got a lot of season left for sure.
What did you see on that unfortunate bounce on their goal?
I didn't see much, honestly. It kind of took a weird turn behind me as I was turning my head, and then there was about a second there of hesitation. Then I turned my head, and Malkin was putting it in. It was unfortunate, obviously, but. I got a couple of good bounces along the way tonight too.
When you're running on a shutout with 53 minutes, do you ever think about the shutout?
It's in the back of your mind, but you're just looking forward to the next shot, and you got to stay in it. Obviously, it's 6-0. We're most likely going to win at that point. So I thought we defended really well all night, and it was just an unfortunate bounce.
All right, there's Calvin Pickard picking up the win, his 8th of the year, 22 saves, neat and tidy. Too bad that he doesn't get the shutout. Cass, any thoughts on Pickard before we take a look ahead to the start of this road trip?
Well, we need to trade him and Stuart Skinner for Marc-Andre Fleury and Kirill Kaprizov, because that's what Minnesota would do.
Totally realistic.
Yeah. No, Pickard, he has been exactly what you want in a backup goaltender. He's been steady. Made some solid saves tonight. Keeps a penalty shot out of the net. Made one glove save that was a great save on a shot, a one-timer. And he just played steady. Made the saves he needed him to make. So unfortunately, he doesn't get the shutout tonight. But just another solid effort that hopefully is comforting for Edmonton Oilers fans.
It's not all of them are convinced, but a large majority have been won over by Calvin Pickard, and I'd say rightly so. He will be the guy as the backup the rest of the way. They are not going to go get goaltending help. If they do that, it would be a heck of a surprise. All right, Edmonton has rattled off 4 straight wins, hits the road for a 4-game road trip. It's Boston, Columbus, Buffalo, and Pittsburgh. Back-to-backs next Saturday, Sunday as well. And obviously the trade deadline mixed in on Friday. Cass, you're looking at this Boston game. Edmonton loses to the Bruins at home a week and a half ago, and it was in dramatic fashion, obviously going overtime. But how do you look at this trip? How do you look at this Boston game?
Yeah, well, you want to keep the momentum going here. You want to see them, and it was kind of mentioned that and I think it was Fogle that said it. You want to win first in the division. You want to catch Vancouver. You want to make that statement. And so you want to just keep the momentum rolling. I mean, you got to look at the game tonight and say, this is the type of effort that you need, whether it's against Boston or it's against Columbus. And I think, with games like against Columbus, you have the opportunity to hopefully get Pickard in there again, try to manage Stuart Skinner's games played a little bit, if possible. But hey, Tommy, you're just looking to build momentum. You've got a little bit of a winning streak going here again now, and you want to keep building on that, want to keep it rolling. Yeah. Unlike you, when they go on the road, I just hope they all remember their cell phones, because that's important.
I forgot my phone on my desk tonight. I felt naked at the rink, and I had to get Gregor to text you to tell you I was coming down. Rookie mistake, as Dusty said. Rookie mistake. I own it. Cass, fantastic as always, my friend. Great work, and we'll catch up with you on Tuesday. Say bye on your way out, okay?
Sounds good, buddy. I will.
All right. That is our game analyst, Matt Kassian, helping us break down the Oilers' 6-1 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins and making it 4 straight victories, as well as kind of creating some separation between them and the Vegas Golden Knights. Edmonton now 3 points up on Vegas, sitting in second in the Pacific. The Golden Knights 3-6-1 in their last 10, and Edmonton does have 2 games in hand and another meeting versus the Golden Knights still to come this season. This one comes in and says 4 in a row now, Richard Heads. Well played. Well played. I appreciate that text very much, as opposed to the alternative name we've been getting called by that particular texter. Colorado Rusty says first place in the Pacific is in sight. 9 points, 4 in hand. Lots of games left. Atif wheels himself coming in from Nashville. Says, hello from Nashville, Tennessee. We had 2 teams down here, the Edmonton Storm sledge hockey teams. We had 3-game series down here. My team swept the 3-game series. The other team went 1-2. Great win by the Oilers. Jake Gensel, future Oiler, says Atif. Atif, how many drinks have you had? My goodness, my man. Good to hear from you. Congrats on the sweep down in Nashville. Stay out of trouble. Broadway's a great spot. Go check out St. Anejo in the Gulch. Great tequila. Even better Mexican food. Fresh, delicious, great scene. Atif, stay out of trouble. Thank you for tuning in, pal. Appreciate the text. This one from Spruce Grove Corey says, evening, gents. While watching that game, one player that caught my eye was Chad Ruedel, pending UFA, makes $800K, could be a nice cheap depth addition, especially if Pitt retains 50%. Thoughts? That's the kind of guy that I don't mind. Add some depth, reliable, has been around, has great experience, doesn't have to play every game. Spruce Grove Corey, 2 thumbs up on a guy like that, because that's who I think the Oilers need to target, is players that have been around for a while. Obviously, they have a cap crunch that they have to deal with. They want to do more than just add one player, but a depth defenseman I think is realistic and logical. I do like the idea of bolstering the defense, but what are you going to do? Can you bolster the defense and the forward unit, or can you pick one or the other? And if you want to pick one, is it the forward unit or is it the blue line? So these are things that they have to weigh. I like the idea of a reliable, steady, veteran blue liner that doesn't cost you a ton. Chad Ruedel, I would say that's a great example of that. So Spruce Grove Corey, well done, sir. Always on top of it. This one said, who would have guessed that Pickard would be one of the Oilers' best signings in the offseason? Well, he got signed 2 years ago. I did, however, say on the Oil Stream during the afternoon that he was honorable mention for most important players heading into the season for the Oilers. So I guess I kind of did. I don't know. I'm not taking credit for that, but Pickard has been excellent for the Oil. All right, let's go to the player of the game. We're going to forego Chris Knobloch tonight, Trev, if that's cool with you.
That is A1, Tommy. Yeah, of course.
All right, excellent. We heard from the players. They're pretty pumped up. Thorough win from start to finish, and we're going to get into the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Trev, do your thing.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Tommy.
Whoa.
What?
Who's that guy?
What are you talking about?
God. What is going on here?
I got a haircut over the weekend, Tommy. What are you talking about?
Shave those sideburns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it was time. I told you, Tommy, I told you the next time you see me, the mustache is going. And that's
gone.
Yeah, that's exactly what had to happen. No, it was getting too bad. Wow. Like I was annoying the boys at work. Like every day I come in, I'm like, this stash is just driving me crazy. It was annoying to maintain, just shaving around it all the time. But that's not what we're here to discuss, Tommy, okay?
Okay.
No, but yeah, I'm gonna keep it nice and tidy tonight. Leon Draisaitl, you know what, he's kind of been a little bit of a roller coaster. The Oilers season's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but when he's on, man. And I thought he had a pretty solid night. I mean, you got 3 apples tonight. It was kind of a quiet 3 apples. He had a few good looks, a few good chances, man. I'm just looking at the nasty chat. Oh, sorry. Okay, we're good.
I'm gonna read some of these.
Yeah, that's super good. But no, I thought Leon was on tonight. You know, they're not going to win stacked up with Connor and Leon, and they're resorting to that right now. It's working for them, but obviously we brought it up 1,000 times. I don't really need to talk at length at it anymore. It's just, I don't know. You need to have him on his own line. It's not really working for him, so they need to find someone who he can have some success with. It's not working with Kane, so but for that reason, he was on the first line tonight. I thought he looked like just super nice tonight. I thought he looked so good. One of the best games in recent memory. I was really watching him, and he was skating right. Like he was protecting the puck. He can do it so well. Probably one of the best to do it in the NHL. So for that reason, Leon Draisaitl, you are the player of the game. Atta be, buddy.
Well done. Guy who is YouTube Trev, but doesn't look like YouTube Trev. If you're not watching, Trev shaved off the mustache, and he looks weird. But he looks good. You look good. Look at that.
Yeah, that's so funny, Tommy.
Does it feel weird? I want to read some of these texts in the nasty chat.
Yeah, I'm just getting into that right now. It does feel weird. Wow. It does feel weird. Like every time I go up to scratch my nose or something like that, I'm like, what the heck? Something's missing. Something. I can't put a finger on it, but something's missing. It feels good though. It does feel good. Like I'm a lot more aerodynamic when I walk. It's nice. It feels good.
Taylor from Indiana in all caps. Oh my God, who is that? Nerd and Punk says, WTF, Trev shaved? Ominous 0111. No, Trev. X-Ray J, Stashless Trev. Spency 5 cents. He says, what? Eric says, who dat? Rod Z says, just imagine they didn't spend $5 million on soup. Yes, we know. Snars Tax says, is that Tommy's kid brother? Yeah, he is now. Jen Cool says, Lil Skins, where are you? Fish Tag says, oh my. Duck the Head also had somebody stole Trev. Fish Tag says, who's the new guy? Rod Z says, who's the new hire? Spetsy 5 cents. He says he's just getting ready for the chin strap. Duck Dad adding, is that Zach to come? Joaquin says his mind is blown. Taylor from Indiana adds, that's a John Travolta caliber chin dimple. I love it. Oh boy.
It's pretty intense.
That's so good. Johnny Alberta says YTT does not look old enough to vote. Oh, that's too good.
You see, Walking Gauge, it's because YTT's upper lip was starting to smell like a donair, which is pretty good too. Oh, yeah, that's funny. No, you know what? What it all come down to, playoffs is right around the corner, and you best know that it's coming back then. I just wanted a little bit, like a month. Give it a month, and and then it's coming back, and it'll be better than ever.
Fergie's Prostate says, R.I.P. Snidely Whiplash. Oh, this is too funny. Trev, you look good, pal, and you're gearing up for. Are you doing Charge Awareness Month?
I'm gonna grow like maybe a week. I'll shave. I'll see what it looks like, and we'll see. We'll go from there. I'm not 100% committed, but I will commit to trying it behind closed doors. I'll probably send a photo to you guys and be like, "What are the thoughts, boys?" But knowing you guys will all be like, "Oh, it looks great, Trev. It's awesome. It looks so good."
No, we would never lead you astray. We'd never do that. Oh my goodness, this is too funny. I'm enjoying this. This is great. Also, Dusty's all charged up. He has a formidable charge going, as one does when it rolls into March, like Dusty does. He wants to end the stigma of charge. Okay, I'm going to read these texts, and I'll go around the National Hockey League really quickly, and we're going to say goodnight. The Oilers win it 6-1 over the Penguins. Now hit the road for 4 in a row. Tuesday in Boston. We'll see what the Oilers do at the deadline. Aaron, the accountant, says, looking like a fresh bebe. Yes, you do. Excellent use of fresh bebe, Aaron, the accountant. Taco says, Tommy, I died when Jack Michaels dropped the Rochelle, in parentheses, a young girl's strange erotic journey from Milan to Minsk, quote tonight. I guarantee Dusty loved it. The only bummer tonight was Pickard not getting the shutout. That's from Taco. Anytime you get a Seinfeld reference, Jack is a huge Seinfeld guy. Yes, we all appreciate that. Rochelle. Excellent. What's this one here? Road Dog Trev says, no way Campbell would start over Pickard in the playoffs. Not a chance. And he brings up that Maddie was talking about it on the Hangout earlier in the week. And I'm with you there, Road Dog Trev, 100%. This one says, CC building his trade stock before the trade deadline. Great win for the boys. That's from Bryce the Sparky. Justin says, Tommy at the game tonight with my son Sawyer. He lost his bet that Connor Brown would score. Bets on him every time we go to the rink. Justin, you know what? At some point, hopefully he buries one. But Justin, positive vibes to Connor Brown. Wouldn't it be something if he scored like one of the most important goals of the year for this team? That would be just a ridiculous storyline. You never know. You never know. And then Corey B just says, what the hell? I'm pretty sure that's in regard to YouTube Trev's lack of mustache.
I would have to agree. I'm just reading some of the text. It's kind of crazy.
You want to get to any?
I didn't realize that. Who did I just... Someone just said YTT's grease factor just dropped 1,000%.
Ooh.
No name on that one. Looking good, Trev. Yeah, so there's some people that are for it. Some people are not really for it, but that's
he's
okay.
He's a good-looking kid. Come on.
Oh, thanks,
leave
boy.
the poor kid alone.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, there you go. All right, that's I'll read a couple texts if we have any more that come in, but really quickly, around the National Hockey League, 6 games. Arizona 5, Washington 2 in Washington. The Kings spank the Devils in LA 5-1. 5-2, Winnipeg over Buffalo in Buffalo. Minnesota gets the win over San Jose. That game played at XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Vancouver 2-1 winners over Anaheim, so they maintain their 9-point gap over the Oilers, who are second in the Pacific. Edmonton, a 4th straight victory to wrap up the night. A 6-1 decision over Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and the Penguins, whose season has basically died in Alberta. All right, one quick look at the text line. Donnie M says, Skins calling WTF Trev, now you look like a young Stu Barnes. Oh, I love this. Big Uke says, it'll be nice to have Tommy in studio for the hangout this week with the team on the road. Late night at Kelly's won't be a good excuse this week. No late nights at Kelly's, Big Uke. I will be in studio. Looking forward to it tomorrow as well. We have DVD coming up this week, as well as Jerry Matajong, of course, Joaquin on Thursdays. Usually, I'm not sure if we've confirmed Murray McCourt, but I'm pretty sure Murray will stop by this week, as well as Jay Milne too. So we have a good cast and crew coming in this week, and plenty to talk about, plenty of speculation to go over all week long heading into the deadline. And on Friday, we're going to have full-blown coverage. It's going to be a fun one. Busy week in oil country coming up. We'll see if the Oilers can make it 5 in a row when they take on the Boston Bruins on Tuesday night. That's going to be an early game. We're going to be on the air at 4 o'clock for the pregame show, 5:30 start our time. So that's going to do it for the weekend. A busy one here at EST. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who watched. You know, we appreciate you, whether it's via iHeartRadio, TuneIn, or our online audio stream. And then, of course, on our EST YouTube channel. For Matt Kassian and a mustache-less YouTube Trev. I can't believe I'm saying it. I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you so much. Stay warm, everyone, and have a great Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.